Hello everyone, and welcome to your second royal reading of today, a Friday here at MadWorldTarot. We're reading today on the stories that are coming out in the Byline Times newspaper, which has gone to print. It's a first print edition that's come out. It's been kicking around for a while. It's supported by Hacked-Off, the group that was set up to try and take down Murdoch's media empire, the tabloid empire, group of celebrities, and Prince Harry is now seemingly involved in them. They're all involved in litigation against the Sun, for instance. So this story that's in the Byline Times is about King Charles, then Prince Charles, and the story goes that allegedly he defunded the Parkles, withdrew £700,000 of funding from them in their trial year away, that year of Megxit, first year of Megxit, to spite them, basically. To spite Prince Harry for including the name of Prince William's aide in his court documents, in his claim that cash for leaks scandal that involved Dan Whitten and various other people, Prince William's aide's boyfriend or partner or something, leaking stories allegedly hostile to the Sussexes. And that's the very short form of the backstory. It's a very long form. Actually, it took me ages to try and figure it all out and to try and force the mess into stories that I can actually read on, questions I can read on. So the story goes that the Parkles were exposed to danger because they couldn't pay for security, because King Charles took away all their money and left them exposed in the hopes that this would force them back to the UK where he could control them. Basically, first of all, he'd done this out of spite because he was angry with them targeting Prince William, dragging Prince William into the litigation. And secondly, because he's very threatened by how popular the Sussexes were going to be and wanted to dominate them, jealous of them, jealous and spiteful and vengeful. So that's pretty much what we're talking about here. So I want to know, the article was written by Dan Evans, apparently, who is a convicted hacker. He's a bit of a dodgy character. He's accused of falsifying evidence in this trial that Harry is involved in now, as far as I can recall. If I have made a mistake about that, I do apologize, not intending to harm anyone's reputation. But he seems to be a bit of a, as I say, shady character, shall we say, and I'm wondering if this is going to be in Omid Scobie's book, because the article concludes that this whole fiasco drove a wedge through the royal family and set off a chain of events leading to Harry writing Spare and getting all those commercial deals. So it's cause and effect, according to this article. What Charles did by defunding the Sussexes, cutting them off, even though their security risk was equal to the Queen's, according to this article, exposing them to grave danger, and by defunding them, it caused Harry to write Spare and sign up with Netflix and all the rest of it. That's the Oprah narrative. That's the Netflix documentary narrative. They made us do it because they were so mean and they took away our money, cut us off without a penny. And is this what all the apology nonsense is about? You know what you did and you must apologize, in the hopes perhaps that if Charles apologizes, the royal protection will be restored and IPP status and all the rest, the immunities and things that come with that, private jets and whatnot. So a long story and a long preamble, and I'm sorry if I've rambled on, but there's a lot to kind of get to grips with before I can actually do the reading. And the reading I'm going to do is we're going to look at how at risk the Sussexes were at that time. Were they in the same grave danger that the Queen herself was in? Were they defunded? Were they cut off? And in that year, because the King's own finances show that he said something like £4 million divided between the then Cambridges and the Sussexes in that first year of being away. And a lot of people speculate he stumped up the money for the deposit for Mudslide Mansion. Then we're going to ask, what are we going to ask? Was Charles threatened by their popularity, and did he really want them back in the UK so he could control them? And then Harry, And I had to stop there because my cheat sheet went flying off and I had to go on the floor and fetch it. And then we're going to ask about Harry. Is this why Harry demanded the apology? You know what you did. And how involved is he or Meghan in this story? And are we going to read about it in Omid's book? And is this going to be, and how is the king going to respond? That's what's going on. Okay, cards are all going flying. We're good to go. I need the cheat sheets to remember, and I've knocked the camera now. So got my cheat sheet. Universe hopefully knows what the questions are, because it's a difficult story to pin down. It's a difficult story to follow, and I do need to remind you here and now that this is just tarot for fun and entertainment. It's all my opinion, it's all speculation, and we read energy here, archetypal energy, and there is of course a disclaimer in the box below. So what's going on with this story? Let's see underlying energy. Ooh, we got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This is about money. It's about money, pure and simple, and not getting money, a big amount of money that was not forthcoming when they went off on their new adventure. Allegedly, because as I say, actual financial returns show that there was a large sum of money that was actually divided between the two brothers, seemingly equally, to support their families in that year. But anyway, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Some sense of being cut off, of being defunded there with that card. Also, it's the same card that came out in the Prince William read I've just done. A newspaper that's launching its print version needs money, needs big stories, needs big scandals to launch itself. Ace of Pentacles, but it's in reverse, so maybe not quite working out the way that they thought it would. But just being picked up in various places. ITV's picked it up. New York Post has picked the story up of poor Harry and Meghan left to fend for themselves by heartless king who was only concerned about his own reputation and popularity. So what's the actual story? That's the underlying energy. What's the actual story we're dealing with? Four of Cups in reverse. That's a rejection energy when it's upright, sort of apathy and indifference. And then when it's in reverse, it's like, okay, let's try and get excited about this. Let's get a do-over. We're getting a do-over of something that people weren't interested in the first time round. And so now let's remind you, we'll try the story again. And maybe you'll notice it this time and feel sorry for us this time. That's my feeling about that card. Maybe you're going to give us a fairer hearing now and all feel sorry for us and won't write those awful comments you write in the Daily Mail and New York Post and on those chat platforms all over the place that we're trying so hard to shut down. That's my sense of the Four of Cups. And of course, this is all just my opinion. So let's have a look at the risk, the threat level that Harry and Meghan were facing at the time that they exited without a penny to their names and with no royal protection. Although let's remind you that the Canadians actually provided protection for them for a while anyway, until Canadians got wind of it and protested, and then they had to flee to America. Ho ho, and well done Canadians. Five of Pentacles in reverse. We've got an eclipse and we've got fighting and conflict here, which isn't normal energy. The threat that they were facing was from being eclipsed and being cast out all alone. It's more a sense of their own sense of being cast out and alone. Because as people always say, well, they don't always say it, but with the Five of Pentacles, that's a vast overstatement. The Five of Pentacles, you always have the chance to go back. You can just open that door into the church anytime you feel like it and go back inside. It's a voluntary exclusion, exile, isolation, woe. So Five of Pentacles is a sense of poor us, cast into the wilderness by the heartless royals. So I'm not getting, even though there is conflict depicted in that card and an eclipse, and it all looks very dark and dangerous, I'm getting that it's more, because it's a Five of Pentacles, it's more a sense of their own exile and self-pity. So were they defunded? Were they cut off? The sum of £700,000 is mentioned here, which I guess would have covered their security costs. So were they cut off to punish them for naming Prince William's aides and court documents, or Harry? So did money get shut down? I got Judgment, and I've got Judgment in reverse. he could have felt that this is why it was happening. Again, I'm getting quite subjective. You've got poor old Knights Templar on the pyre here, being burnt at the stake. Judgment is in reverse, is criticism, is being held accountable for your errors of judgment. We've got legal proceedings in the judgment case. I'm getting a very subjective sense from these cards that this is how they feel, how they felt, how they interpreted it to themselves, to each other. He famously was left to negotiate the Sandringham deal by himself. She either didn't want to be there or wasn't allowed to be there. Have read on that. She was far, far away in Canada, not allowed to phone in, not allowed to give him cliff notes and tell him what to do. So he was left to fend for himself, poor darling. And so he might have misunderstood things or viewed things as being hostile to him and critical of him. Judgment in reverse, 5 of Pentacles. We're going to ruin you financially and cast you out and condemn you for this legal action. And I'm sure that the royals did have things to say, harsh things to say, about the fact that Harry was embarking on this foolhardy litigation, and we have seen the consequences now of the litigation. He was made to look an absolute idiot in court, where he was expecting that the press would give evidence to incriminate themselves. He didn't have to prepare a case or bring any evidence to court. It was just what he believed had happened. It's all sitting here. And it's very difficult to reason with someone as irrational as that, and so someone who's caught up in their own conspiracy theories and sense of victimhood. This is, of course, my interpretation of the situation. Let's look at the king now. Really threatened by their popularity and jealous of them and resentful of them. 3 of Cups in reverse. No. That's just... looking at them really and thinking you're going to regret this. You're partying too hard. You're losing friends. You think you've got friends, but they are false friends. I'm getting that sense of a parent looking at mistakes a child is making and thinking, oh, I wish you could see what I can see, and you're going to regret this. He was saddened by what was happening, the king. He thought that Harry was being led astray into false company, false friends who were out with their own agenda, who weren't true friends. 3 of Cups is friendship card, partying and celebrating card. So no, I'm not getting, I would have got a 6 of Wands kind of an energy of I'm more important than you are. Give me all the attention. I would have got much more dramatic energy if he was jealous of them and all the fame and fortune that they were about to get. This ongoing narrative that the royals were so threatened by Harry and Meghan in particular, because she was so popular. She was Diana too, and all the rest of it. This is nonsense. This is a grieving parent for me as a reader, and it's my interpretation of the cards that is what I'm bringing through here. So did the king, well, he was then Prince Charles, did he really want Harry and Meghan back in the UK, where he could watch over them and stop their nonsense and control them and subdue them and suppress them? 6 of Pentacles in reverse is the card of charity and quid pro quo and reciprocity. There's a sense of unfairness there. There's a sense of biting the hand that feeds you. That his energy is coming through as very sad in this column. His energy always comes through as very sad, but it's coming through now as sad in the sense that they're wasting their time, keeping the wrong company, maybe partying too hard, maybe trusting people they shouldn't. 3 of Cups in reverse, and here 6 of Pentacles in reverse. They're being ungrateful. They're taking from me. And again, the speculation that he actually provided money deposit for the house in Montecito, that he did keep funding them. He gave them, people say, something like £2 million that first year while they were busy with their deals, getting their deals from Netflix and all the rest of it. He's feeling like He's doing all the giving and they're doing all the taking. This is not Six of Swords in reverse. If it's Six of Swords in reverse, I would have said, oh, he does want them back in the UK. But this is, I'm helping you and you are taking more than you should be taking and you are throwing it in my face at some level. So let's look at Harry now. Is this story, this interpretation, his own subjective feelings, or perhaps the way he's been taught to interpret all of these events by someone whispering in his ear, possibly? Is this why he's demanding an apology? You know what you did. I think so. This is why I had to leave and I had to go. Eight of Cups. I had to turn my back on you, even though I had served you so well and loyally. And off I have to go on my ship. Away I go. The wounded warrior, turning my back on it all and leaving the scene of the crime, the scene of so much hurt for me and my lovely wife, who only wants my best interests, who only has my best interests at heart. Of course. So yes, this is why he left and why he can never go back until they've apologized. They own what they did. I do think so. I do think so. Again, my opinion. And how involved is he in this Byline Times story? Is he implicated in any way in it? Nine of Pentacles. I would think that it's not necessarily him. It could be because it's a male Nine of Pentacles, and normally it's a female that comes out in the Nine of Pentacles. It's normally a happy single woman who doesn't need a man, got all the stuff she needs in her life, the luxury and everything else. But it's got finding freebies energy. Are we getting to finding freebies next? It's got finding freebies energy here. So I think he is. I think he is. I found my freebies. I found my freedom. Nine of Pentacles is freedom, liberation, financial independence. And look at me, I'm free now. I don't need you and your money. And but possibly I am going to tell, because it's the same guy here. He looks a bit sort of juvenile and a bit bloated and a bit out of shape. There he's, you know, really he's been fighting and he's buff and he's sad and he's going. And here he's been living the good life, indulging but out of shape. But still on banging on in his story. And let's ask, is it going to show up in Scooby-Doo's book Endgame? Is this going to be a story that we're going to hear? Seven of Wands, yes. Yes, absolutely. This is going to be big in Scooby-Doo's book, because the Seven of Wands is all about somebody who's exposed to danger and has to defend themselves. They're on their own. Look at this heroic character being threatened, potentially even by the Taliban. And because, of course, he himself made that silly statement in the book Spare, which we need not to regurgitate, and particularly not right now, given the state of the world. But, oh, look, I was exposed to grave harm because you were so petty and so spiteful and wanted to diminish me and promote yourself and punish me. All in his own mind, I'm getting. Yeah. What's the king going to do? How's the king going to respond to this, if at all, when it happens? Page of Pentacles. It's quite an odd energy because it's communications, it's money, it's negotiations, it's contract. I don't think he's going to try and buy Scooby-Doo off, buy all the books, buy the publishers out, shut him down that way. That's wild speculation. If you hadn't noticed, I'm being snarky. I don't mean it at all. It's a very low-key response. There might be something that's printed in the press as some kind of statement, because pages are communications. But it's coming from a person who's a very powerful person. I mean, compared with that's a very powerful person. But he's got these standing stones behind him. He's got that sort of wisdom of the ages behind him. But he's offering just a small pentacle. So even though he's got all this power behind him, and mystical power even, and through the ages, he's not asserting it. He's not utilizing it. He's got that one single pentacle in his hand that he's going to offer. So I think it's going to be very low-key. It's going to be iron fist and velvet glove. And I think that that is something he might have learned from his late mother. So interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of statement comes out when Scooby-Doo's thing hits the airwaves, so to speak. I'm getting that there's something else in here, something I'm missing. When I was joking about buy all the books up and do all of that, there's something in there. There's something in there about offering some sort of coin to someone, some sort of deal, almost an interview. Yeah, that's what's coming to me, that he might actually say, I'll do an interview about this. Sit down and talk about it to someone, or mention it in Christmas speech or something like that. But there's something coming from a very powerful place, but very low-key. That's your reading, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.